speed traps. I've seen cops with their lights off in hidden areas. Before you know it, the lights go on.
Drivers, lawmakers, and police officers hate it.
It's nonstop stress. How am I going to get my tickets? How am I going to get my numbers?
They call it a quota. The Ogden chief calls it a point system.
That's a quota. Sounds like a quota.
No, we do not have a quota.
Police quotas have been illegal since 2018, but tonight, Fox 13 investigates how Ogden thinks it found a different way to keep officers writing more tickets.
Even if you're converting it from points to tickets, I still don't understand how that isn't a quota under the definition of the law.
They say it pays to live in Ogden, but drivers say it's costing them on the roads.
In the beginning of the month, no cops are out. It's quiet. Towards the end of the month, they're everywhere.
If that's not a quota, I don't know what is.
More than half a dozen police officers who are too afraid to speak on camera say he's right. Drivers know exactly what's going on. They have to write tickets to make their bosses happy.
If you don't get a certain amount of tickets, you're going to be on a work improvement plan for sure.
Does Ogden PD have quotas?
No, we do not have a quota.
How would you describe it?
Chief Eric Young says it's a point system to make sure officers are working hard. It's part of their annual evaluation and not the only thing they're graded on.
80 to 90% of officers writing citations is work. It's a critical part of keeping our communities safe.
So an officer isn't necessarily required to write a certain number of tickets, but they have to get a certain number of points?
They do.
You better get your numbers.
Here's an example of how the point system works. You pull someone over, give them a warning, that's 2 points. But let's say you're worried about your numbers. Officers say in that case, they're probably just going to give them a ticket. That's double, 4 points. State lawmakers banned quotas in 2018, but the chief says there is nothing illegal about what he's doing.
Well, I was working with the legislature when this bill came around, and I understood what the concerns were.
I think it's pretty obvious to your viewers what's going on here. This is associated with raising revenue.
Former Senator Howard Stevenson wrote the bill. When we showed him the point system, he was not happy. Are you surprised that they're actually willing to put this type of stuff in writing?
They are emphasizing quotas. The idea that these men and women in blue have to be revenue raisers is un-American.
That's a quota. Sounds like a quota. Sounds like a quota.
Former Representative Kim Coleman also sponsored the bill. She says it's time to hold Ogden PD accountable, or to go back to the drawing board with a new bill to address loopholes.
I don't feel that it in any way violates the spirit of what that legislation was.
According to the state auditor, Ogden makes more money per capita in fines and forfeitures than any other large city in Utah.
Even if you're converting it from points to tickets, I still don't understand how that isn't a quota under the definition of the law.
To get above that moderate level, you'd only have to write 2 a week, which would be 8 a month.
He says it's only a small part of the evaluation. Officers say they were made to feel like it was the most important.
I think the chief is coming from a good place in wanting officers to go out there and be proactive, but on the same note, needing to get a certain amount of tickets so the city can get that revenue.
That looks like a significant part of an evaluation.
Another officer who showed us his annual review exceeded expectations in almost every category, including tickets, but he was still asked at the bottom of his eval to work on writing at least 2 traffic citations a week.
Not a single evaluation crosses my desk unless the employee has at least 2 goals to work on for the next year. And I don't care if they got a perfect score.
So if an officer's already meeting expectations, or in this case exceeding expectations, why would they be asked to write more tickets?
They shouldn't be.
I've had the same stuff on my evaluations.
Other officers say they were disciplined, not fired, but it made them feel like it was time to look for another job. So they did.
If we had a quota that said no matter what else you do, if you don't get your citations, you're not cutting it and you're going to have repercussions, then that's quota in my book.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
I think that's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous, and they need to quit doing it.
She's angry even though she says she's never gotten a speeding ticket.
Not since like 1970 something. It's probably because I'm lucky.
Now she says it's time for Ogden PD to follow the spirit of the law and stop treating drivers like a piggy bank.
I would say, gentlemen and ladies, please do away with the point system and obey the laws that we have to obey.
The chief says this point system has been in place since 2016, that it's based off average numbers, and he says it's working because crime is down. Reporting in Ogden tonight, Adam Herbetz, Fox 13 News, Utah.